started. Oh, the stream is live. Yes,
Yay.
yes, yes.
Welcome
We
to
are live. I didn't even see the countdown, girl. We just popped up,
We're
but I
just
am
talking.
so excited.
Me too. I'm trying to get my position
Yeah,
now.
girl, get ready because we about to do what we do.
About to
So,
do what we do.
hello, everyone. Welcome to season 2 of Unlocked. I am so excited. My name is Sakeya Donaldson, and I am the founder of the Science of Beauty and the hostess with the mostest of Unlock the Science of Beauty. And before we start, we want to thank our gracious host, MYAVANA, for hosting us on their amazing platform. So, as I stated before, this is the kickoff to season 2, our very first episode of season 2. And what better way to do it during Black History Month, talking about legacy, talking about hair care, and all of the things. So, I would love to introduce my guest today. So, I got to get this right. So, my girl, Miss Resa B. Luster Mack, is the proud wife and mother of 3 children, and all of her children are up under 3 years old. Okay. And that girl be in the gym every day. I'd be like, so it's no excuse for me. Risa got kids, she got a husband, and she still be in the gym. I got to get my life together, but I digress. Risa's journey within Luster Products Inc. is deeply rooted in her family's legacy, and she is a third generation member of the Luster family. Luster was founded in 1957 by her grandfather, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fred Luster Sr., who was a barber in Chicago.
Yeah.
And in 2016, I'm sorry, Resa successfully led the launch of Pink Kids Collection. If you know anything about hair care, Black hair care, pink luster, pink lotion, stop playing. If you did not have pink lotion on your counter, were your edges really laid? Were they? Like, you got to ask yourself that. But we'll talk to her about that. So, in addition to her role at Luster, Resa is committed to financial literacy through her marketing work with Maconomics with her husband. That's amazing. Another family business where she also
Another family.
serves as the secretary. Listen, y'all gonna keep the money in the house. Money in the house. I love that for y'all. Her dedication to financial education complements her expertise in brand management, reflecting her broader mission to empower individuals through both business and financial knowledge. Risa remains focused on growing Luster's Pink and its sub brands, both domestically and globally, while participating in initiatives that benefit African American communities. A proud graduate of Columbia College in Chicago, she continues to make significant impact in the beauty industry and the field of financial literacy. How did I do, girl?
You did so good. Thank you. I love
Hey,
the intro. Thank
Risa.
you. I'm so honored to be doing this. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here. And like I said, when I thought about when we were going to launch season 2, and we said, okay, we're going to do it in February during Black History Month, I was like, we got to have somebody like legacy. We gotta have somebody, because right now that is so important, right? Like, ownership right now in 2026 and beyond is what really matters. So this conversation is like super, super duper important, right?
Absolutely. And Luster has been in the game since 1957. So in the 50s, we were founded by a Black man on the south side of Chicago, and we're very proud of that. A lot of our competitors at the time have sold. A lot of our newer competitors as well have sold. So we're really happy to still be in business and still be 100% a family business. Um, we have a lot of pride, and we're not just a brand. We also manufacture all the products that we make as well. So we have chemists of color. We have a manufacturing facility. So there is no white labeling. Our products are EU compliant. So we are backed by science. I tell people my grandfather started off as a kitchen chemist, but my uncle, so my grandfather's second born son, went to school for chemistry. So we have an actual chemist in the family that is a Luster. And he's my uncle. So he's my dad's brother. My dad is the president, CEO. My aunt and uncle are vice presidents of the company. So it's just a blessing to be a part of something like this.
Listen, shout out to Lusterland. Like, the fact The fact that y'all headquarters got a whole name, like I want to go to Lusterland. I want to see what's going on, And so I thought that was really important that you shared that the business is still 100% Black owned and family owned, because I think that's something that people miss the mark about, and so that's really important. Like you said, people come in and exit, and we not hating. Like, listen, if that's what you feel like you need to do, boom. But this conversation is about legacy. This conversation is about generational wealth. This conversation is about creating something that you can pass on and something that's going to live after you're gone, right? And so, similar to your story, I'm fourth generation beauty in my family. My great grandmother, my grandmother, and my aunt all worked as cosmetologists. So they were on more so the service side, where I'm more so on the education and programming and product side. But, just watching my grandmother and what she did and what she was able to pass down to my aunt, and now me, I'm tasked with taking it to a way another level that they probably could never imagine. Pretty much like your grandfather, right? Like, he thought about this and created this in 1957. He never thought in 2026 I'll be sitting here talking to his granddaughter. And this is something that he created that's been able to feed his family, feed countless other families, do amazing things in the community, and just build a sense of pride about what you can build and develop and cultivate, along the line. So
Right. Absolutely.
yes, yes. So you ready, girl?
I'm so ready.
All
I'm
right,
so ready.
I got a few questions for you, okay? So
Yes.
you are third generation.
Yes.
What did you inherit beyond the products? Like, what was the mindset? What was the value system? Because I could imagine, being in this family, growing up in this family, there was a lot of conversations about beauty and products around the table. So what are some things that you can remember that you may have heard your uncle say or your grandfather say as it relates to, your mindset and your values?
Okay. So this is what I tell people. It's a two-part question.
Okay.
I wasn't raised to go into my family's business. Like my family, honestly, they were like, "Yeah, you're never gonna work here. That's not an option. Go make your own way in this world." And so when I got to college and I had a Black professor, because I went to a pretty diverse college,
Okay.
I remember like doing a presentation, and at the end of your, someone asked like, "What do you want to do upon graduation?" I was like, "I want to move to New York, go into fashion and beauty." And the professor was like, "What?" Like she couldn't even comprehend it. And she was familiar with my last name. So she's
Right.
like, "Does it show family?" I mean, she was very professional. She didn't like out me in front of everybody. She was like, what do you mean you gonna move to New York, go work for some beauty or fashion? You got something. And I was like, "Yeah, okay." But my dad literally would say, like, "You're not going, you gotta go, whatever you want to do, go do it. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to finger paint, you want to do whatever, go do it. You're not coming to work here." And I think that that's where so many people, and I don't even want to just say in our community, but so many people in family businesses, that's where we go wrong. And I've seen people who own like law firms, or it might be a doctor in the family that has its own practice, and or they could have a clothing store or something. And I've seen the next generation just tear it down because there was no passion. And when you make somebody do something, you probably don't want to do it. But if you
No.
let people find themselves wherever they might be, they end up where they're supposed to
Where
be.
they're
Like
supposed to be.
I worked in retail in college, I just love fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So I always advise people, like, let your children do them. Don't force them to go to medical school. Don't first force them to go to school for business. It worked out in my family. My dad did go to school for business. My grandfather didn't have much of an education. He's from Mississippi in the cotton fields. He had to migrate to Chicago because his family was forced to leave Mississippi for racist type things that were happening. They had a farm and it was quite successful. And obviously you're Black, your family's Black, and they own a farm, not a good look. So they rushed him out of there. They're like, "If you don't get off this land, you're gonna hurt your family." And so my great grandfather migrated to Chicago with all of his kids. My grandfather's the eldest of seven, eight of them. And I still have an uncle that is my grandfather's brother that works in the family business to this day. And my Uncle Herb is sharp. Like, I'll be in a boardroom meeting. Uncle Herb know when ingredients are arriving, packaging is arriving, what is being manufactured, what is being shipped out of Lusterland. And we're like, and I turn to his kids who also work in the family business. So a lot of people just think it's my dad, aunt, and uncle. No, I have out of my grandfather's siblings, there's one living that still works in the business, but we have others because he's a twin. The twin sister never worked in the business. And then there's a whole nother Luster family that has hair care products as well. So my grandfather's youngest brother owns Essations, another hair care brand.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So, but that's primarily like professional items.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have so many Lusters that work at Lusterland.
Listen, Uncle Herb said, don't play with me. No. I've been in the trenches too long for y'all to come in here and play with me. But listen, you got to know your business. And I respect that. You gotta know your business. You got to know the numbers. You got to know the margins. You got to know the capacity. You got to know what's going on. So I love that. And one thing that you said about, not being forced into the business. And I don't know what the statistic is, but a lot of businesses, especially five.
Most businesses, period, black, white, blue, orange, pink, don't make it past 5 years. Wow. Most businesses, when they hit that second generation, which is my dad and an uncle's generation, that's when you see them go away. So for us to get to it being a third generation family on black-owned business, it's like 0.0000.
Right.
Something like
it was very little. Yeah. It was very little. And it wasn't even just black businesses, just businesses, period. You don't hear a lot of third, fourth generation businesses because, like you said, if the kids aren't interested in it and, your situation wasn't what your granddad's situation was or your great grandfather, they created out of necessity, right? Like it was trap or die. Like that's what it was, So you have a different level of understanding what it is that you're doing. And like you said, if the child doesn't have, a passion for that, it's not going to work. And I talk to people a lot, and when they talk about like generational wealth, like, well, why do you sell? Why would you exit your business? Why don't you want to pass your business down to your kids? And it's like, my kids don't want to do this.
My kids don't want to do it.
And I'm not going to force them to do that. So that's why I said I respect the fact that you guys have been able to keep the business in the family, but I also respect the founder that built the business, scaled the business, and exited the business and went on to do something else. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have lineage to take it over, that's passionate about taking it over, they're just going to squander the business anyway.
But we see that in hair care. We've seen a lot of brands sell off and their numbers decrease drastically. And the thing, so people sell their businesses off, but with the acquisitions, what we've seen in our industry is those formulas are the first thing to change. Because what happened is, and we noticed in our industry is, for years, general market companies was trying to talk to us, but they can never get it right. It wasn't like, I'd be like, girl, what you doing? And it's natural, right? They try, hey girl, what are you doing? It's like, that's not how we
talk not
to
it.
Each other. So your marketing people ain't doing it right?
And they're not picking it up.
They're not picking it up. So we as consumers was like, what are they trying to do? Like, I don't look or talk like that, right? Like, I don't wake up, my hair is silky and it's just ready to go, And so they had to, out of necessity, because think about it, like people who are of color, how many different products do we need to get through a wash day? Don't even get me through styling, right? So the acquisitions happen out of a need of the general market companies wanting to play in the texture hair care game, but they can never figure it out in-house. So they acquire these brands, and when they acquire them, the formulations change and water them down because they're all about profits. They don't care they don't really care about, you as a user. They're like, look, I just need you to buy this stuff and run these numbers up, and I need a bag. But the brand loses its identity, So
yeah. For sure. And that's important. Like that's super important. So let's see. What stories did you hear growing up from the first generation of Lesters, and how did those stories shape how you lead today?
I still have coworkers that remember my grandfather. So we are truly a multi-generational business. One thing my grandfather would do, which is really, really unique, right? Like, he was a very strong man, Black man. And if he heard anything was going on personally with his coworkers, he would hop into it. So if somebody's going through domestic violence, or somebody's going to lose their home, where he's going to get himself involved to get that person out of that situation.
Right.
And he had, so like, what brought my grandfather so much joy as the owner of Luster, like, his intention was not to become a success. I mean, it was to become successful, but it wasn't to get rich. Right. His thing was, I want my people to do good. And it's crazy because my father just found a speech that he recited to us in an interview, in another interview we did last week, and like, it brought everybody to tears. And my grandfather was like, look, I fit the statistics to end up in an early grave, to be in the welfare line, to not make it, to be in prison. And he was like, we started the Luster Products Foundation to make sure people that look like us could win at life. Wow. And so my grandfather was very driven to see people that he brought into Luster, like, buy their own homes, send their kids to college, them further their education, so he was very passionate about the community, right? Like, for people of color. And that is something we still instill today. And that motivates me. And it's crazy because I meet people who come from generational family businesses and they want nothing to do with it, and they don't know their community. Right. And I'm very blessed for how my family raised us. Like, you're not just going to be over here with
all the things.
About to know your people. And I'm so blessed they raised me that way, because I'm around some Black people. Like, oh my God, it's like, what is wrong with you? Like, you Black, you Black, right? Like, chill out. Like,
they're not going to kill you. They're not going to eat
Black.
you.
I don't care.
It's okay.
So you Black. And so people meet me and my sister. They're like, y'all talk like y'all really Black. Y'all like,
we really Black, sis.
Yeah, so, but I'm very grateful, like, that my parents raised us to be humble, to respect everybody. And you could come in our lunchroom and see my dad eating with somebody who works on one of our manufacturing lines. Yeah. So I think it's really important. I think Lusters are very down to earth.
That's dope, because I can really see, with your grandfather migrating, or your great grandfather migrating from Mississippi, they understood the value of community, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's how they survived in those horrific times. So being able to build a brand where you were able to pour back into your community, where you were able to help Black people become homeowners, Black people, send their kids to school. A lot of his employees, their children may have been like first generation college students and things like that. And even like when I had stated before about my family, with me being the fourth generation, we have a plaza in the city of Tampa. It's like 6 doors, right? And so my grandmother always, every Black beauty fashion type of business has came through that plaza, because there were times when they wouldn't rent commercial space to Black women or Black businesses. And so that plaza, the Total Image Plaza, it became an incubator for all these small Black beauty fashion-based businesses that went on to expand and, went into malls or went and got their own retail spaces. So like, when you can position yourself to not only help your family, but help your community as well, like, that's why y'all are where y'all at now, right? That's why you get the blessings that you're supposed to get, because anybody can make money and just hoard it and keep it for themselves. But when the goal and the mission is to, expand and touch the people in your community that support you, that's just like a whole nother level.
And then something else I want people to know, like, my grandfather made sure all 3 of his kids went to school. My grandfather, at a very young age, was forced to quit school to help take care of his parents and his siblings. He had to work. He didn't finish 8th grade.
You said he was the oldest, right?
He had to quit school before he even graduated from 8th grade to help with his 7 youngers and his parents. Yeah. So I want that to be like a beacon of hope for people who feel like, man, if I don't come from something, I can't do it. Like, this man, like, Black in the 50s, anything is possible with
from Mississippi. From Mississippi.
From Mississippi. Yeah, like, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Today,
For sure, for sure. So I want to pivot a little bit. So moving into the present and like the evolution of Luster. So
Mhm.
what does it mean to modernize the legacy without losing the soul, right? And so you touched on that about like when brands sell off, right? They lose their identity, they lose the soul. So, where have you had to innovate, and where does Luster refuse to compromise as it relates to the soul of what your grandfather started?
We're not compromising on formulations. Like
Period.
we're not speeding anything up. Like we're saying so many people, different brands just go to market, then all type of mold and stuff is growing in the product. We're EU compliant. We don't have to be, but we're EU compliant because we care about, we manufacture everything. So everything that's brought into the building, we are exposed to, right? My
Okay.
coworkers, myself. So we are not compromising on our formulation. So we see the gels. It's so crazy. I remember I buy competitive products. I test competitive products. I need to know what's out there. I want to buy like a 72-hour whole gel, 24-hour whole gel, 100-hour whole, whatever. And I went
Whatever
into
they
R&D,
claiming, whatever they claiming it is.
and our chemists can reverse engineer things. Okay, so they could really, whatever that label said, they could verify it.
Right.
And there's like, yeah, keep using this. You're gonna have no hair in your head. So keep on playing. I was like, but this is what they want. And so what next thing we're not going to compromise is we've always been the brand that people could turn to for hydration and moisturization, and those are two different things. So and that's where we are. Like that's
Yeah.
the corner of the room we're owning. The next thing is a lot of people didn't know, like you say, the soul of Luster. A lot of people didn't know we're Black owned and family owned. Like people are just finding this out now. We're 69 years in business. So I think just right now we're telling our story the way it's supposed to be told, and being authentic to who we are. So that's something that I'm really, really proud of, and something that was very hard for my family. We didn't want to come forward. Like we grew up in an era where my dad said, my grandfather would say, you walk proudly and you let your product speak for you. Okay, but people don't need to know who you are. So coming into an era where it's, hi, I'm Resa, we're less than, that was like, oh no, you're doing way too much. Go sit down. The product will move on its own because it's a great formulation. But I
Risa,
had to
get
get
back
the,
to work.
yeah, like what are you doing? Like, let's get an influencer. And the influencers, you pay them, and it's like, yeah, I like this. Go buy it. Look at my hair, and you're like, I would have made. You had no
Yeah.
enthusiasm with that,
Yeah. Like we
So,
paid for that. Did we pay for that?
right, right, and no one can tell your story better than
Better
you.
than you. Yeah.
And so I think right now the soul is, people are just starting to find out we're family on the Black owned. They're just saying this is who we are. Like
Yeah.
I'm not decked out in Gucci. We got real life bills up here to bring these products to life. Like I drive a simple car. Like it's nothing like lavish about my
Right.
life, right?
Right.
But just being authentic. Like
Yeah.
we take pride in making great products that we know will work. We invest in R&D and manufacturing, and that's our flex. That's our flex, and something that we're proud of, owning the entire process where we could have something white labeled and we could say olive oil's in the product, but if that manufacturer ain't got olive oil in stock, they could go ahead and make it and tell it, oh yeah, we put olive oil in it.
It's
You know what I'm
sunflower
saying?
oil in it.
You know what I'm saying? But like, we won't bring, if we're out of stock of something, just know we're waiting on an ingredient to come in, or a piece of the packaging. Like it could be a label, it could be a jar or bottle, but we take pride in making sure that we're delivering on what we're promising, and that's something that we don't compromise on.
I love that. I mean, you said so many things in that soliloquy, like owning it from beginning to end. That is the only way that you can guarantee that what you say your product does, it does. And like you said, changing the formulation, that is the biggest thing that brands do. Like
With
I hate to go
acquisitions.
to a restaurant, and I was just here 3 days ago, and because that chef is not off today and it's another chef in here, now my food tastes different. I hate that, and somebody put in the comments like the pink luster, like the smell is the smell, pink luster, what you're gonna get. And that's a testament to the authenticity of the product, and that's a testament, like you said, to the integrity of the product and what your grandfather instilled in you guys. Because like you said, once you sell off and you become mass produced, now it's about margins. If you use almond oil in your formulation, almond oil costs too much. We going to sunflower seed. We going to castor oil. We going to all,
We're gonna give you this much almond oil. Give you
just
a
so
lot
we can
more, but yeah,
say,
let me
just
hear.
so we can say it. You know what I mean? And another thing that I like about what you said is the difference between hydration and moisture, right? Those are two totally different things.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of trying to have all these different products for all these different categories, it's like, look, luster, moisturize, hydration. That's you. If you want those two properties and benefits, come over here to us. We do it the best, right?
So we do have gels, but our
Okay.
gels ain't gonna have no alcohol in it because we know it's gonna dry your hair out.
Hair out.
And they're
Yeah.
good alcohols, and then they're bad alcohols. It won't have the bad alcohols,
Yeah.
you know. So we do make stylists, but it's like we are making the stylist is gonna dry your hair off and break it off though.
Right.
Like it's still gonna give you great hold, great shine,
Right.
but it's not gonna break your hair off.
It's not gonna be crunchy. We don't
Yeah.
want crunchy. We want sleek.
Mm-hmm.
We want Resa.
Mm-hmm.
Baby hairs.
And no flaking, no white.
And no flaky. We don't want flaky. We don't want
use
flaky.
the gel day 1, day 2, day 3, day 10.
They
They
never
go flake. I'm
They
on my
never.
chemist
You
like
don't
that
want
all
it.
the time. You're like, okay.
Listen, we don't want it. So, okay, as a third generation leader, how do you balance respect for tradition and couple that with the realities of today's beauty industry? Because the beauty industry today is the Wild Wild West.
It is. As a third, so I'm in a family business, so it's not the easiest thing. I tell people if you don't have thick skin, don't go into family business. My dad, I was literally in a meeting multitasking, and my dad asked a question. I was like, oh, I captured the notes, but I'm doing other things too. And then conversation went, Teresa, pay attention right now. I just recited everything. You didn't think, no, I took the notes. I recited it back to you. Like I'm listening and doing, we got 50 things to do. So I would say you need to have that within a family business, especially a multi-generational one. And then as far as like competitors go in this space, I just stay true to who I am.
Yeah.
It's new for me. Like we tried for years to like get me out there, but it was like how to go, like, okay, she can do some stuff. Don't let her do too much, you know? So, but now it's kind of like, I'm married, I got my own kids. I'm gonna run the show and do what I want to do. And I think my family trusts me with that. There have been some things I've asked, like, do you mind if I post this? You know, like Taraji recently did something where she talked about pink lotion and we clipped that. And then I had a response video for it. But my family back in there were like, don't say anything to Taraji. Oh my God. If you say something, oh my, and we're going to fit. And it's like, no, it's just like, Taraji, we can private label for you. Like,
right.
We can't go jip you. We going to make sure you good. Right. And then,
we want to bring TPH on over here, girl. We got a whole manufacturer plant over here.
Like, come on, girl. And then the next thing was we did, my sister came up with the idea for us to do the Black owned versus Black founder, like who's still Black owned versus
Black
like who didn't sell pretty much.
Right.
And so we did that, and my dad was like, well, I don't know, like what and it's like, yeah, I was saying this was so Black owned and we was left off the list, and that's because they didn't know we're Black owned because we've been under the like we've let the product speak for us and we haven't been as visible. And so he had a hard time with that one. Then he was like, okay. You know,
you got to tell Pop, scared money don't make no money. We got to let these people know.
But it's just, you know, he comes from an era like, you know, in the 50s, you weren't this self-aggrandizement now.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't do that then, especially as a Black person. You was asking for it.
Like, how dare you have audacity?
Yeah, you know, so it's like different for him. And then you show him what different brands are doing, you know, and it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, now, I told my dad recently, I was like, you know, we're a generational family brand. We have something for everybody.
Yeah.
We have something for the grandmama, the mama, the daddy, the baby, the great grandbaby. We got you covered. Whatever you're looking for, the whole household could use us.
Right.
And I think that's really interesting, you know?
Yeah. No, that's dope. That's dope. So as we continue, we do have a chat box. So if you guys have any questions for myself or for Resa, we'll grab them, answer them throughout, kind of answer them at the end. So definitely. And I think, like you said, that's really important to have a multi-generational brand, because like I see a lot of content that you do with your kids, right? Like every morning you in there getting their hair done. Oh, girl, 3 kids under 3, girl. God bless you, girl.
And in a family business. Yeah, my husband's an entrepreneur too, and it's like it's a lot.
Yes. But that gives you an opportunity to bring them into your world. You know what I mean? So I love that for you. So we talked about this, so we'll piggyback off this a little bit. Family businesses come with very unique challenges. What's the hardest part about leading something with your last name attached to it?
The hardest part is I'm still the granddaughter. I'm still the president's daughter, and unfortunately, like we touched on earlier, a lot of people in family businesses, like I know people who come from family businesses, and some of the families have sold off or closed. And it's kind of like, I don't care about the business. I'm just collect the check. I don't really care. I'm just going to show up. So I think it's hard for people when you see somebody who's like, oh, they're really into this. They really have questions. They really are concerned. They're really, so I think that's hard for some people, especially because some of my coworkers, they remember me as a baby.
Yeah.
So it's like, but we've one thing I will say that there are 5 grandchildren, which is also unique. It's 5 grandchildren. We're all in the family business. We speak to everybody. Our parents raised us to be respectful. So there's no entitlement like you need to do this for me. No, my assistant is still Miss Sandra. How you doing, Miss Sandra? Like you still have respect for your coworkers. But I do know it is hard sometimes to hear constructive criticism. And my criticism isn't I don't like you as a person. It's like we could have did this job better to be more successful. And I'm aggressive. I'll be in all different departments. I ain't got nothing to do with. Like, hey, okay, let's go. It's a family business. Like people ask me, what do you do? I'm like, I'm in a family business. You mop if you got to mop. I see the janitor, like, ain't feeling well. So I got this going out the way. That's how we are. If it's your baby, you want to see it through. And my grandfather created the company, and my dad has done a great job scaling the company. My dad got the brands. It's like 70 different countries. Yeah, but it's our baby.
Yeah. No, that's important. And I remember in the summer when I was in college, I used to work for my dad. He's a engineer and a general contractor. And I used to work for him, and he used to always tell me, like, the boss's daughter is not a respectable title. And I'm like, okay, I never said that, but people tried to treat me weird. And it's like, no, I'm here to work. Like, I'm watching everything. I'm his eyes when he's not there, because at the end of the day, this is our business. So definitely that's important. And like you said, being that people probably have a perception of how you should act or how they think you act, but really it's like how they would act if they were in that position. You know what I mean? Like, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. And that's cool that you can say, like, hey, I can do any job. Like, if I gotta answer phones, if I gotta mop the floor, because at the end of the day, this has my name attached to it, and I have pride in what my family has built. So that's dope. Mm-hmm. So we talked about this conversation taking place during Black History Month. Mm-hmm. So during Black History Month, we celebrate pioneers. In your opinion, how has Black-owned hair care shaped the beauty industry at large, even when it wasn't credited?
Well, my grandfather created Luster because he was a barber on the South Side, and his clients would come in complaining about dry, itchy scalp, brittle hair. And so he was just providing a solution. He didn't think it was turned into a company. He was just like, I'm a barber. Y'all hair is slacking. Your scalps is red and inflamed. Let me go mix some stuff up and see how y'all like it. And then just word spread around the Chicagoland area about this amazing Luster product. And eventually he would sell out his barbershop, but he would eventually have to drive around the Chicagoland area to sell out of his car because it just became of such demand. And so my grandfather was also part of ABBA being formed, which is an organization where a lot of the Black hair care brands like Soft Sheen and all of them would come together to really to create this organization to make sure that the Black-owned brands weren't taken advantage of when it came to like distributors or retailers. It since went away, unfortunately, but it was a great organization to make sure they were all protected and they were on the same accord. Because once again, being Black back then in business, everybody was looking to take advantage,
It's like, what you paying them? You paying them okay, cool. We just want to make sure they ain't trying to get over on us.
Yeah. So the black, and there was men, and they all got along, and they formed this organization, which was really cool, but it's since gone away.
Oh, wow. That goes back to community. That goes back to your grandfather being from Mississippi, understanding that the only way that they were going to survive is if they stuck together. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
every time you tell a different story, you can always see that thread that he wove into the fabric of what Luster is. Like that's dope. So in 2026, what does legacy mean to you? Is it about longevity? Is it about ownership, generational wealth, cultural impact? What does legacy mean to Risa?
All the above. Longevity, to show that you can own something, you don't have to sell. If you choose to exit, that's on you. Um, but I've just seen the heartbreak that consumers have with that. Especially, I just wish there was a way when people did exit, the formulas didn't have to be changed. I've seen brand
Yeah.
owners depressed after they sold. Like, I can't believe I sold. I never thought in a million years they would do this to me. And it's like, I
Because
wish.
you know they lied and told them they weren't gonna change the formula. Oh
Right, and
no, we're
and
gonna
that's the most devastating. The
change
customer
it.
gets so mad at the brand owner. It's like they didn't know, like they crying at home too. They hurt, like, um, you know, um, but I think Luster, the fact that we've been in business, family owned, black owned for 69 years, I hope that shows people that they could do that too. I think, unfortunately, in beauty is something that's not really celebrated, um, even in fashion. Like, I feel like being black owned isn't celebrated like
Enough.
Chanel is celebrated,
Yeah.
like a Birkin celebrated,
Yeah.
like some type of auto is celebrated,
Yeah.
right? Like, but it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. You pull your sleeves up every day just to do a good job and make sure that your customer is happy.
Yeah. That's the end goal. And when I think about it, it's I understand what you're saying totally about like the fashion houses, the couture houses, and things like that. And I
Auto.
think
Mm-hmm.
because, the watch brands, the Rolexes, has been around since the 1800s and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I think that the reason that beauty brands aren't celebrated with that legacy kind of like undertone is because we've been shuffled around so much, right? Like we don't really claim America or America doesn't claim us, right? So we don't feel like this is a land where we created and sustained something. It's more so this is a land where we just tried to survive. Like it doesn't feel like home. And I feel like when you don't have that foundation, that's when you can't observe it for what it is. And, honestly, us as Black people, we kind of do it to ourselves, right? Because before we came on, I was talking to Candace of MYAVANA, who runs this platform, and she's doing a lot of work in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And she had just went out to Tulsa, and I asked her, like, how did that feel, that you're out there in the tech space, revitalizing Tulsa, doing things. And she was like, I just felt such a sense of pride being there, like knowing what Black Wall Street looked like, knowing that we were self-sufficient, knowing that we had banks and hospitals and schools that were for us, And so I was like, dang, I could really understand how you could feel that sense of pride being in an atmosphere like that, because we don't have that anymore. And then you saw when Black people were thriving, you see what happened. Like they burnt it down. And so, I always tell
They
people,
did the same thing to the Indians who were close to Tulsa over that. And when they found out they were living on all that oil land, they were
yeah,
burying them and killing them all.
yeah,
So,
it don't change. Like
mm-hmm.
if you got something they want, they gonna come take it. They just went
Mm-hmm.
and snatched somebody out their house in a gray Nike tech suit, the guy from Venezuela. So it's like they don't care at all. But I always say, like, beauty beauty to me, if this is a space that you're passionate about, like it can create wealth for you. Like the first Black female millionaire came out of the beauty industry. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
the girlies is making money, whether it's service, whether it's products, whether influencing. The girlies are making money in the
Mm-hmm.
beauty space. And so, that's something that I talk about a lot in the Science of Beauty program, because some of the parents, they don't understand that correlation. Like you said, your grandfather was a kitchen chemist, but he had the fortitude and the foresight to send his son to college to become an actual chemist. Because once you saw where the business was going to scale and where the business was going to go, now you know the type of things that you need, right? Y'all went to business school, y'all went for chemistry, because these are components that
Technology.
techno.
Oh, my grandfather didn't understand that. My aunt, so my grandfather has 3 kids, my aunt, my dad, and uncle. She went to
Okay.
school for technology, and my grandfather was like, "Oh, you lost your mind." What? That's almost
Like,
like your
what
kid
is
coming to you
that?
today. Yeah, it's like your kid coming to you today. Like, I want to be an influencer. And he was like, "Oh, I don't know." But that's his only girl. So it's like, okay, go on, do that. Whatever you go, whatever,
Right.
go. And then he looked up one day and he was like, "Oh, the business needs to be automated. We need somebody who knows technology. Who do I know?" Oh my God, my daughter I sent to school and she had worked at like banks and stuff on the tech side. So he brought her in and that's how she became
Right.
one of the owners of Luster as well. My dad went to school for business. He went for undergrad and he has his master's from Northwestern. And then my uncle went to school for chemistry. So he
Boom.
made sure all his kids, and he didn't even understand my aunt. He was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Most
Yeah.
of them don't. Like your kids, they're gonna go into a career that hasn't been created yet. Like by the time they get ready to enter the workforce, they're gonna tell you that there's some brand that you're gonna be like, well, what is that? I mean, I went through the same thing with my dad when I wanted to be a stylist. He was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, you coming back to Detroit and you working for, and I was just like, yeah, just give me a year. Let me figure this out. Because he could not wrap his mind around that. And then once I started doing it, once I wasn't calling him for money, once he saw me being able to take care of myself and travel and doing all these things, it was kind of like, okay, but I get it. And that's the barrier that I even have with parents of my students now. It's like they want to play in makeup. And it's like, no, like she can go to school and become a whole chemist. She can be a whole engineer. Like one of my students was like, I want to be a lawyer. I'm like, L'Oreal got like 500 lawyers on retainer on any given day. You want to go into politics? You can be a lobbyist. They have lobbyists in DC lobbying for, softer practices, regulatory stuff. Like it's so many different things
There's
that
so
you can
many
go
different
into.
things.
But if the parents don't understand it, it's like now that's another barrier that the student has to get over. The entry point into STEM is already difficult. So now if you don't have that support and that backing coming from home, now that's just another thing to kind of stand in your way. So just the fact that your grandfather, even if he didn't understand what he needed at the time, he still let them go and find their way. And in the end, like you said in the beginning, you end up right back where you're supposed to be.
You do.
So,
I
yeah.
was in stock my senior year of college, and my dad was like, "Would you?" And keep in mind, I interned at different places. I worked in retail. It wasn't even on my radar. I'm like, "Whoa, are you okay?" Like, So, but I think as a parent too, having small children, I try to keep my kids in like a lot of different activities so they can figure out what they
What they
want to
like.
do. And I tell people the only thing I have a non-negotiable on is swimming. I want you to learn how to swim just so you can survive. I don't need
Yeah.
you to be an Olympian, but
Yeah.
like that's a life skill. As your mother, I just need you to know because we're around pools and
Yeah.
you like water parks and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
outside of that, I don't really care what your extracurricular is as long as it's positive.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I wanted their brains are so small and they're growing very quickly. Just
Yes.
expose your kids to some of everything, and it'll
Yep.
all come into place in the end. But I just think it's so important as a parent to just let our kids, especially our kids of color, let them
Yeah.
explore,
Yeah.
let them go to a museum, walk around. Just we, it's funny.
Travel.
We
Travel.
the other day, it's so funny. We parked our car where we shouldn't have parked it, and it got towed. And we had to walk home. And my eldest did not have an understanding. I said, we need to walk more. I said, do you realize, like, it's a blessing and it's cold outside? I'm like, do you realize it's a
Right.
blessing that we have a car? Like, and in my head, I'm like, we need to take more walks so you can see. And we're gonna get on the
She
bus.
not understanding. She like, where's the car? What do you mean the car got towed? Bring another one. Why we not in the Uber? What's going on? What's going on? No,
you know, my husband's a financial person, so he was like, "How far away? Oh, we could walk it." You know, so he counts everything. He's like, "We're gonna walk it. Okay, let's go." He's a
Listen, Ross
numbers man.
like a black truck, 10 blocks, scenery,
10
fresh
blocks, here we
air,
go.
get our 10,000 steps in.
Right.
We good. You got your coat. She got a scarf.
Got a
Boom,
hat,
let's get it. Hat, let's get
gloves.
it.
We walking. I was like, okay. And our youngest is too, so she was like, we had no stroller. It was like everybody walking.
She about to die. Like, she don't understand her life is over. She don't get it.
Yeah, no.
That is cute. No. I love that. So wrapping up a little bit, let's talk about leadership and future generations, your kids. They better get in formation because it's coming.
I told Roxy I had an interview and she said, well, then I have an interview too. So I'm going to do my makeup. I said, oh my God, Jesus Christ.
Listen, train them while they're young.
Yeah, clearly.
And they will find their way. What advice would you give to young Black founders, especially young women who want to build something that lasts beyond them?
This is going to be really hard to hear. And this is why a lot of brands end up selling.
Okay.
And nobody knows this, so I guess you could say I told you. Okay. Know your numbers. Know your numbers. A lot of acquisitions don't happen because they want to sell. Their backs against the wall. They've taken investors' money, ran through it, didn't really have much of a return for it, so they couldn't pay their investors back. And they were forced to sell. So know your numbers. And that's something we've had to learn in Luster too. Like, thank God we are very, we're not spenders, right? So my dad has never been like, let's just blow all the money ever. You get a Bentley, you get a Bentley. You like, no, we that doesn't happen at work. Like, it's real, like, what does this cost? Do I have to, okay, we have to do it. Like, even our materials, is this the best quality we could get at this price point? Okay, fine. But know your numbers. Slow and steady wins the race. So just because you see, because I remember being so confused when I would see like brands dropping like different product lines, like they were like a fashion house, like a spring collection, summer. I'm like, whoa, let's do that too. How they doing that? Let's come on, we moving too slow. We still got
it was giving fast fashion. It was giving,
and I was like, wait, and then like my dad and my family had explained to me like, they're doing something and we can't play in that game. I'm like, well, I don't know why, because everybody else doing it.
Because they having fun. They over here playing and having fun. I want to have fun.
It came out. Like, the end it came out. Our back was against the wall. You know, we were forced to sell. We were in so much debt. It was like, they're going to take our house. They're going to take everything away, you know. So I would tell people, I really urge you, and I'm not saying you have to go to school for finance. There's a difference between accounting and finance. I think everybody needs somebody who understands the numbers, which will lean toward finance. Accounting is historical, like what you spent. Finance is active, right? So invest in a finance person. And that doesn't mean you go get a book and try to figure out yourself.
Right.
You need an A person in that department. You might be a C, you know, but you need an A person. My dad is an A person in finance now. He's been forced to become an A person.
Baby, you are Max. You are Ross's wife. That baby said finance, accounting. Two different things.
My dad is actually like, I think my dad was in sales for a long time. He was in on our sales team. And then he transitioned to be the owner and our CEO. Mm-hmm. And we've invested in, you know, and don't be so, that's the next thing I'm going to say for people in business. Don't be hesitant to fire. Now, you don't want a reputation that you're firing people at 5 minutes, because then nobody's ever going to work for you. Okay. But give people a chance. Evaluate. Give them a couple chances, because they're not you. And I think as like owners, you know, family members, you are like, no, be passionate like I am. And this is not their business. But they should still know how to fulfill their role. But like at Luster, we didn't have people on because like it's just dear Auntie Summer, you know.
It's emotional.
It's the business.
I know them. I watched them grow up. And you know what? I was watching an interview yesterday. Emma Grebe. Me and you talked about her. We love us Emma. I said I love Emma. She was interviewing Issa Rae. And
Ooh.
one thing, Issa, you got to watch it. One thing Issa said was the same thing you said. She was like, I I held on to people for too long. Like the same people that got me here
They're
aren't
not gonna
going to
get
be
you
the
to the next
same
level.
people that are going to get me to that next level.
They're not.
And you have to be okay with it. And she was like, most of the time, they know that they can't help you get to that level. And they're feeling pressure and they're feeling overwhelmed. And then once you finally let them go, and then they go somewhere else, now they're thriving because now they're in a space that matches their capacity. And I think, you have to take emotions out of business,
And as
especially
women, I think it's harder for us to do that because we're
very hard.
nurturers and we don't want to hurt
Yes.
anybody. And so when I came in at Luster, I was like, and they were like, no. And it took some years for like me to better articulate what I was trying to say. And they
Mm-hmm.
got it eventually, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not personal, you know,
Yeah.
it's business. And you'll look up and have nothing if you keep
Yeah.
making it personal. So
Yeah.
I advise people being in family business, seeing what I'm seeing. I'm like, man, we would have eliminated that a long time ago. Not just a
Yeah.
person, but it could be something else, a vendor, it could be
Yeah.
anything, you
Yeah.
know. But you also don't want the reputation as being the person that no one wants to work for because you have a high turnover.
Right. Yeah. And
Numbers
yeah.
and assess numbers and assess. Know your numbers and always evaluate the situation. Never get content. You even see this with a lot of restaurants, like they shut down very quickly because you got the bartenders just serving people the liquor. The liquor is very expensive. Okay, like know your numbers,
They
assess. You
over
have to show
pouring.
up. You
They
have
ever
to show
over
up.
pour. Yes, yes. And I'm learning that too as I'm scaling my business for my STEM kids, right? Like because now I have to hire because it's getting to be to a point where okay, I need an operations person because I can't be so hands-on. But once I turn that over to them, like what are my systems? What are my SOPs? Like what makes this work? Because if you just turn it over to somebody, now you just got chaos with a payroll, right? Like somebody needs to be able to come in, and if I'm not there hands on, like the business can still run, things
Right.
can still go. And so that's what I'm building out right now, is my systems. And I didn't think that was important. I thought the product, like I'm just gonna make this product and I'm just gonna sell this product and it's just gonna be amazing and we're gonna make a lot of money and all this. And it's like now I'm looking at margins. Like, okay, if I can get this from another manufacturer, if I order this amount, I can get the cost down, and then that's gonna bring more profit margin. And it's like
Know
some
them numbers,
things,
baby. You gonna win if you know
baby,
the numbers.
baby, I got listen, I'm right here with it. Like, okay,
It's not
this
sexy, but it's gonna help you
yes,
survive.
yeah,
And don't overspend just because you see somebody else on the gram with a Bentley. You don't know if they rented that Bentley, if it was their friend's Bentley, because you've seen other people try to play that game, and it's like,
don't do that.
yeah. And then
Don't
you found
don't
they
do,
out of business. Like didn't even have a
don't do
chance to
that.
sell. They just had to
Yeah,
shut it all down. You're like, okay.
yeah. And I say that all the time. A rich person can play broke forever, but a broke person cannot play rich for long. So it's like is no need to even do, because at the end of the day, everything is going to happen in due time,
Yep.
right?
I
And
heard you say.
and I even find that about myself. Like people try to rush me, like, oh, your brand is picking up so much steam and this, that, and the third. You should do this and you should do that. And it's like, nah, I'm not. You're not gonna rush my process because I know what my capabilities are. I know what I want it to look like. I know what I want my foundation and my infrastructure to look like. It's not about who can present something first. Because usually the person that does it first is real janky. It's real janky because they haven't took the time to lay the foundation and build an infrastructure. They was just
Right.
worrying about doing it first, right? And
Mm-hmm.
some things, yes, I'm a firm believer that you put it out, you work the kinks out, you reimagine it, you reformulate it, you rework it, you redo the things, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you're never going to know if something works if you haven't tested it. And if you
Right.
want it to be perfect, you got to perfect it. Like I remember when I launched my hair perfume, I had got the packaging back and I was like, yeah, I don't like this. Like, it looks cheesy. So let's spend the money that we need to spend, wait the time that we needed to wait. And so I remember they had maybe sent me like 25 samples, and I gave it to some of my friends. And they came back and was like, "Oh, we love it, but it leaked a little in my purse." Girl, I almost died. I said, "Oh," I said, "Cause I know, baby, if anything leak in the lining of my bag, it's over. Like, I'm not buying it." And so it's about quality control. It's about making sure that you're putting out the best product. So I went back to the manufacturer, and y'all got to fix this. Y'all got to fix this today, because the day I give my product to one of my friends and they put it in their Chanel bag and it's leaking and they line it, it's over with. Like, you're done before you even start. And
Right.
so, taking that time, getting the product the best that you can present it, building the structure, knowing your numbers, like that stuff, like you said, is not sexy. People don't want to think about that. People want to do photo shoots, and people want to post on social media. That's what they want to do. Like, when we gonna do the photo shoot? It's like, girl, that's so far down the maybe that's so far down the line. Like, get the product right. What they said
Get
on
the
Belly,
product right and take that
put it
consumer on a
in the
journey with
bag.
you. Take the
Yes.
consumer on a journey with you. That's how, and I hate to say this, and I loved her brand, Ami Colette. She took y'all on a journey with her. And I'm really devastated with what happened. But I think her interview too with Emma Gree was right on time. And it was enough. I encourage everybody to listen to it,
Two
because she would
times.
tell you.
Listen to it 2 times.
Because and I tell people all the time, you want to launch a brand, don't do it until you watch that. If you don't
Watch
watch
that.
the Emma Green and the Ami Collet, I forget
Yep. Yep.
her
And then
real
they
name.
and Jara. And then
Genre, there
they
you go.
and then they snatched her up. She over at Skims now, about to head they fashion and beauty.
And she borrowed money from everybody. You could think Kelly
Everybody.
Rowland, you name it, and
Everybody.
could not keep it afloat.
Yeah.
Last thing I'd like to say, you need God, because you will have hard times when you want to give up, and you feel like the room is against you. Because I'm the youngest that sits in our boardroom meetings. And you do get pushback being in a generational business, right? I'm sure a lot of people in corporate America experience this too. But just know that you are possible of anything that you put your mind to, and with God on your side, you could do anything.
Yeah.
So a lot of people look at me crazy, like, did she say that? And it's like, I did say that.
Yes.
I'm confident in what I said. And
And
there's
did.
statistics behind what I said. I'm not just like, guys, look, I need a pink Chanel and let's do a shoot. No, I'm not talking about that. I mean, like, for real. Like, we need to do X, Y, and Z, and we need to give these people over here, these are the marching orders. There's no more playing nice. Like, they'll do what they can. No. We got to direct them. We got to guide
Yeah.
them. Well, I'll take the call. You need me to be on the call with you? No, I can do it. Okay.
I got it. Don't worry about it. Don't. But no, that's I mean, we could talk about this for a whole nother hour, about the power of God and favor and grace and redemption, and all of the things that I live on a daily basis. But I think that is a perfect way to end this conversation. Like I said, this was very important to me, to kick off season 2 with someone like you with a
Oh,
rich
thank you.
history.
I'm
Yeah,
honored.
no, I
Thank
was
you.
super excited. I have been telling Jessica ever since we met. I was like, I gotta get Resa on on the webinar. And like I said, at the Science of Beauty, we just believe that legacy and innovation can coexist. And I feel like this conversation really nailed that. So before we get out of here, do you have anything that you want to share with anybody, where they can meet you at? What's coming up for Luster? What can we expect from 2026 and beyond?
Product launch. I've been sitting with our chemists. Our chemists are tired of me because I'm like, no, it can't flake. It can't do this. I tested this and it didn't work. I'm on like my 15th iteration of something downstairs. I'm going to try tomorrow on my hair. More products coming out. New technology. Something we're really excited about. You can follow me personally I'm Resa B Luster on all social platforms. Our brand is Luster's Pink on all social platforms. We go live once a day on TikTok. Monday through Friday. Telling our family story. You get to see around Lusterland, like walking the manufacturing plant with us. We do not go into R&D because our chemists will pass out. Because chemists are scientists and they're
For
very funny
real.
style. They don't want to be
For
on no
real. No,
Instagram, no
super.
TikTok. I could probably get some BTS of stuff like mixing or their hands mixing, but you're not gonna get to know them. They don't want to be known. So we just have Uncle Freddie, who is our chemist, and the ladies see Uncle Freddie, they be like, Uncle Freddie, hey. You're like, okay, this is not a dating show. Like,
Calm
not
down. This is
they'll be
not a
like,
matchmaker.
oh my God, Uncle Freddie, the women want you. Like, do the live sometimes, you know. So, but I am a
Right.
real working person. Like, a lot of people, I think, get caught up in, oh, they're just on TikTok or Facebook or YouTube. No, I really do work. Like, and I am a mom and I am a wife. Um, but yeah, you can find, and our products are available at lusterproducts.com. We're also in select retailers and beauty supply stores.
Okay. Great, great, great. And again, I am Sakeya Donaldson, the founder of the Science of Beauty. You can follow me on Instagram, Sakeya the Great, or the Science of Beauty.hq. We have some amazing things coming up 2026. We have our HBCU tour. We'll be at Tuskegee, NCAT, and Xavier this summer. So I'm super excited about that. Our STEM kits are available, our DIY STEM kits, they're available on our website, thescienceofbeauty.net, and we're just doing all of the amazing things. So again, Resa, I would love to thank you so very much for making this premiere so special. You look beautiful, and I'm just
You
so
look beautiful. And thank you for thinking of us at Lusterland. It means the world. Thank you so
yes,
much. We're
thank you, and
honored.
yes, thank you so much, and thank you to our host, MYAVANA, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks. Thanks for having me.